Hey everybody, you have McGann again doing another one of these talking through movie videos. If this is your first time watching, keep in mind that you will not see or hear anything on the screen pertaining to the movie. It's just basically my commentary that you can play while you're watching the movie yourself. This time is a little different. I usually try to keep things on Netflix, but Netflix removed The Last Unicorn, so I'm over watching it on Amazon Prime today. You can watch it with me there. It might come back on Netflix. Go get the DVD. It's awesome and totally needs to be in your collection. But however you're viewing, get that queued up and hit play now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, don't worry if you're a few seconds ahead or behind. It's not going to make a huge difference. It's not going to make or break this experience. It's an interesting noise I'm hearing in the background. It's almost like a lion kind of scoff, if that's a thing lions can do. Just that sort of breathy, oh. But this is definitely a forest, and they're definitely in the European, Englandy type of area. So I wonder what that could have possibly been. And if anybody notices the animation style looks kind of familiar, yes, this was done by the same people who did The Hobbit way back in the 80s, I believe. This was from 82. Maybe The Hobbit was from the 70s. The interesting thing, though, is why would unicorns need to disappear if man cannot see them anyways? So they're going into this forest where it's always spring here, and nobody thinks it's some, like, haunted type of forest. Well, how progressive of them for back in that era. And if I remember correctly, she's technically supposed to have the body of a horse, the head of a deer, the tail of like a lion or something. And yeah, so that's why she has the split, what do they call that? Cloven hoof, I think, instead of the normal looking horse hoof. It's also why her head is so petite. And I don't know what those are supposed to be. I guess those are supposed to be lions, but they don't really look like it. I don't know what menagerie she's living in here, but this is really odd for a forest. And I like how they make it this really tapestry type of feel for this introduction. And America that does this soundtrack, I mean, they do a really good job, I think. Especially since the characters don't really sing other than in, I think, the one love song. But yeah, they have just a really nice, smooth sound. I think it goes really well with the style of this movie. I wonder what castle that is, because that's also not Hagrid's castle. Oh, the squirrel's crying because the leaf fell in their forest and it's always supposed to be spring there. That's why he got so upset. I always wondered about that. The style on those background clouds, it looks like construction paper almost. I'm really fascinated with how they animated this, especially way back in 82, I think, and it's like, wow, they did like a really good job. There's so many beautifully smooth moments. It's really stood the test of time. I hope in another 30 years it will still be just as gorgeous. But again, how would they know if they can't see the unicorns, if they can't recognize the unicorns? That's the interesting thing too. In the Lost version, they talked about how unicorns kind of came from the beginning of time or something strange like that. Gosh, how was it they put that? They made it sound like they came out of the underworld with dragons or something really bizarre. Unfortunately, the Lost version wasn't finished, so there's so many more unanswered questions there. Oh, wait, I know that voice. Like, I can see his face, but I don't know what his name is, and it probably just went across the screen a few minutes ago. Like, lady, the butterfly was just on your horn. I'm pretty sure he recognizes what you are. I love that sort of antsy type of movement that she does there. Just, I mean, if you've ever really worked around horses very much, they have that very sort of movement about them when they don't like what's going on around them. They feel something odd in the air. How old is the Muffin Man song that the butterfly is able to say it in the context of the setting of this movie? So they never really clarify when it's set, but I feel like it's before the Industrial Revolution, so at least the mid 1700s or prior. Man, I remember as like a little tiny kid, I used to be able to like recite everything the butterfly said. I'd just be sitting in the car going on a loop about it. What is in that tree? So visible only to those who search and trust. So you either have to be looking for the unicorn or you have to trust that it exists, I'm imagining. There's also something where like little kids, like 3 and under, can see unicorns very easily. You've listened to this scatterbrain thing, and now you're going to take directions from him. I don't know that I would have disrupted my entire life based on what that butterfly had to say. This is like, look, he's absolutely mad out of his mind. Let me take what he said seriously. I mean, I know he's right now in hindsight, but it seems just really strange to take his word for anything. But do the unicorns have any kind of tally or roster for what unicorns exist? Because they do breed. According to one of the books, they do breed. They just don't do it very often. So they're biological animals. So do they know, like, hey, there's Steve, there's Trevor, there's Casey? Like, I don't know how they would even notice if one was missing for her to think that they're waiting on her. There's dodo birds back there. I've never noticed that before. Well, I guess if I went and looked up how long ago they went extinct, I could get a good timeline for this movie, but I have a feeling it's like way, not like in man's history. I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like dodo birds are one of those things that were like prehistoric extinct. It would be great if I could language today. Oh, he has a name. I think it's Martin or Marvin or... Gosh, I looked that up for one of my videos. See, okay, but if he just sees her as a white mare, and granted she is gorgeous as she is in his sight of her, he doesn't think it's weird that she has like the tufts of hair around her feet and the weird tail. I mean, even if you ignore that the head's a little bit small for a horse, and the ears are kind of off, very deer-like, yeah, how do you see that thing and say, oh, that's a regular horse? And how does this guy know that she doesn't belong to somebody? If that is a random horse, she's so gorgeous, there's no way that she's just free and clear, not owned. I love her level of offense. It's like everybody on YouTube. Like, oh yeah, he has no idea what he's looking at, but I'm gonna get really mad about it. Except she very clearly does not have a normal horse head, so this is still bugging me. Like when I was very young and I thought she was just, that was the style of horse and she wasn't made up of different animal parts, it made more sense. But now it's like, shouldn't she like fill out in different places, get furrier on the tail or hairier, I guess, on the tail? I'm just kind of back here enjoying the music right now. But I wonder how far she could have possibly traveled, because they're making this seem like it went on for about a year or better. Because I know she passes through and there's a bunch of snow on her at some point any minute now. And see, it's very clearly like spring or summer right now. It seemed to be summertime when she left, but of course her forest is always spring, so who knows? Did I miss? Did I blank out and miss when she was covered in snow? Because I swear that happened before. Is this a different cut of the movie I'm not aware of? Creatures of night brought to life. Well, how is she pure and trusting or whatever it was that the requirements were to see the unicorn? Is it just because she's magical that she can see her? Has to be, right? What I don't understand is why does Schmendrick look so tired here? Because he was surely driving one of those carriages in the caravan there. So why does he look like he just got woken up? There's only the three of them working there, as far as we know. And this is a really great performance by Angela Lansbury, if anybody wasn't aware of that, who was also Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast. And Mrs. Lovett in the Sweeney Todd original musical production on stage. Very interesting lady. I like her. And I love they're in this like Renaissance-y type of era here. And they're like, we have these greatly dangerous, crazy beasts in these little tiny wooden cages with bars so that they're already going to be aggressive and angry and ready to snap. And everybody's just like, yeah, I accept that. Like, look, you hear the bar or the wood creaking as he walks back and forth. Like, if that were real, it would bust out of that thing in a heartbeat. Like, I don't know how she managed to keep any of the other ones trapped. Well, I guess just the harpy's real. And I hope you all have seen this movie before, because I'm just going on over here like you have. No, that makes sense for being able to be contained in that kind of a cage. Same with the monkey. Does he? Because I'm pretty sure he's right there right now. How does he have the whole world in his coils? He's not that big. But if she's all about these illusions, then why doesn't she just have a white horse with a fake horn on it? I mean, that would be a big bringer in of people and money, right? The three-nippled harpy. It's like, okay, you know, I get they're not gonna censor it, but did they have to be like so like in your face with her jiggly bits there? Whole design of that thing used to give me nightmares. You think she's gonna free herself very soon? It's literally wood. She should be able to bust out of there in a heartbeat. So I'm thinking based on the audience there, we're looking at least around the 1500s or back. Because I remember it was supposed to be some big scandalous thing if you showed your hair back then. So that's what all the headpieces were about. But you guys just had a conversation that she can't do anything but, like, make a ruse out of other things. She can't really transform anything. So what does she mean? I'm going to turn the harpy into wind or snow or notes of music. Like, no, you're not. You're going to get eaten. I hate to be one of those people that keep going on about the book, but this is one of the few books I've actually read. And they did, like, so much more, I think, with Mommy Fortuna in the book that I liked. Like, she had this last attraction, I think they called her Ellie, and she was supposed to be, like, Death herself. And it was Mommy Fortuna in disguise, and it even freaked out the unicorns, like, she knows more than she thinks she knows. I mean, it's got a beard. Can it not, like, cover its nips even just for the sake of the age of the average viewer of this movie? Because it's something about it just, like, makes me so uncomfortable. They're so big and droopy. And what I don't get is, like, the unicorn is supposed to be so, like, loving and nurturing to these other animals of her forest, but she's like, well, you keep these other animals if you want, just let us real, immortal, magical, mythical creatures go. Like, excuse me, you don't want to do anything nice for the lion and the ape and the snake that are trapped in this awful situation? The ego of Mommy Fortuna. Like, does she really think that if the Red Bull came there right now, it'd just be all like, oh, okay, never mind, she's under your protection, I guess I'll leave? The dodos are still there. All right, so very clearly the bars are, like, electrified, as it were, with Mommy Fortuna's magic. But the wood, again, I want to keep questioning the wood and the hinges and the, cheap little 1500s nails that are keeping that thing together. Because I don't think that would hold much. State of the art back in the day, I'm sure, but today, nothing. I love that the lock just totally mocks him. It's like she knew he was gonna try and break her out, and so, oh, so you had to get the key. Haha, looks like you're so great. That riddle has haunted me forever. Why is a raven like a writing desk? They don't give us an answer. I spent all of my early childhood trying to figure it out. I've got nothing. So would Schmendrick, if he was strung up on barbed wire to be a harpy necklace, would that make him like a harpy's candy necklace? Like, would it be fun for the harpy, or would it just be decorative? And I think it's really interesting that Schmendrick's nose is really big, and if you kind of put it into context with the book, again, keep going on about the book, but he's been stuck in this age for a long time. So if he's not really allowed to age, something interesting about people is that their ears and noses never stop growing. So even if he wasn't aging, maybe his nose kept growing, and that's why it's so large for his, I guess, rest of his appearance. So he's an awfully tiny man otherwise. And then the unicorn makes this noise like a puppy. It's so odd. I mean, they couldn't have a conversation first. Like, I'll let you out, but I need you to wait like 5 minutes before you go nuts. See, and she just like destroyed the wood cage. So was the whole thing like having a spell around it, keeping it together? Or how does this work? I really want to know more about this detail that doesn't matter that much. This is an interesting almost fight scene, especially since like unicorns apparently face off against dragons in Peter Beagle's world here. She just goes with it, totally embracing it. I don't care, whatever. You can see like her skulls on the side of, ugh. Oh, I know that's not her skull. That was like part of her necklace or hat or something. Why is it flashing red? Like, what is flashing on it? I get they're trying to symbolize, like, oh, it's demonic and evil, but again, I need a little bit more information on why this is going on. Oh, one of the best lines in the movie. You must never run from anything immortal. It attracts their attention. I don't know why that's a thing, but I have believed that's a thing my entire life. And it's so weird, like, we never see or hear about the harpy again. Like, you think we'd be like, oh my gosh, we all have to be running for cover because there's a harpy loose in these parts. Like, no mention of her ever again. She's just free doing what she does. And I never got that. Why can't unicorns feel regret? Are they just jerks by nature? I mean, they're just so full of themselves, pretentious, they never have anything to ever feel bad about. I'm not worried about it. Like, she does have that arrogance about her. Maybe that is just a unicorn thing. And the bull has a whole weird little bit in the book where it's like, oh, we don't really know where he came from. He just showed up one day to serve Haggard like some, I don't know, evil puppy. What a sharp eye for him to notice Schmendrick up in that tree. like I would have just rode right on by and never paid any attention to it. I mean, green, blue, they're similar enough. You don't have to stare that hard. Aw, Captain Cully loves Molly Grew. But does he, though? Because I would argue he doesn't. That poor horse looks so annoyed, like, dude, you're so heavy, and now you put another 100 pounds on me. I'm going to die. Slit his wizard. How are they all so fat, though, if they're living out there, like, surviving on rat soup, and it's, like, 3 days into the same rat? That's basically water and blood broth. They should all have dysentery and weigh, like, 40 pounds. The unicorn's like, oh, I could help, but I don't wanna. I'm just gonna sit back and see what Schmendrick does to help Schmendrick. Whoa, that's a weird looking guy with a big hat in the middle. He does not look like a person like the others. Like, I get he's probably supposed to be Hispanic maybe, but he does not look like the rest of the people. See how long his face is? He's like one of the frogs from Thumbelina. Or no, Rocko's Modern Life. I'm sure nobody watching this remembers Rocko's Modern Life. So it seems to me from this scene that Schmendrick has been learning from Mommy Fortuna, and that's why he knows how to create this illusion. And I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird, awkward thing. They're like, well, you can't make me a true magician, so you can't give me what I want anyways, implying he can't do magic, which would go hand in hand with what we know from the book. But what is this then? It's like, and they're like bubbly or something. Like I think they make him drunk when they walk through him or something weird. I don't know. Maybe he just got off balance because he didn't expect people to walk through him, but I always saw that as he got plastered. But he can't do magic. He says he's not a true magician. But he thinks he's a true magician. Then he's not. Then he is. And the fact that it came out exactly like he wanted to from saying magic do as you will. I mean, it's really bizarre. Again, the only thing I could really piece together to make Schmendrick make a whole lot of sense is my Schmendrick theory I posted a month or so ago. And see, that's a good point with my theory about Schmendrick's background. It's like, he's no ordinary wizard. I don't know what he is, tell you the truth. So there's something extra about Schmendrick other than, you know, the obvious he's not aging like he should be. Look at those tiny little legs, just like little birdie legs. And everybody else is so thick. Like, man, if I couldn't age or die, I'd just be, like, eating so much bad food like I don't already. But it's just so much more bad food. Everything smothered in cheese. This is another weird, like, okay, he didn't seem to know what he did, but he said some very specific words implying that he should have known what he was doing. How is he not a real magician? Like, I don't see how this doesn't make him or qualify him as a real magician when most of them are just doing, like, sleight of hand tricks in this era. Like, his teacher Nikos really did not do him any favors at all. And then, I don't know, did the unicorn turn the tree back into a tree? Or did the lack of Schmendrick touching it turn it back into a tree? There's so many vague areas that make me so curious in this movie. See, it was true magic, so then that should be over. He's a true magician now. He should be getting older as of that moment. Oh, this is so heartbreaking. And going into my Molly theory, which I won't get into much detail, so you can watch that for yourself if you want to, but the way her hair is so misshapen, and even like her, oh gosh, what do you call it? Corset. It's all like misthreaded and stuff. It's like really, like she doesn't know how to groom herself the way any normal adult would, and I think that also plays in really well with my theory, and that's something I know I didn't talk about in that video. Poor Molly. She's had a strenuous life. And I love that Molly's like, I don't care about my life up to this point. I don't care about the man that I probably messed up my whole life to run away with, who wouldn't even marry me. Like, Captain Cully means nothing. Unicorn, let's go. And looking at myself now in my mid-30s, I'd probably be the same way. Like, no, there's a unicorn. I don't care about you anymore. The unicorn. Go away, husband. I don't need you. I have unicorn. Unicorn. And none of Collie's people find them while they're trying to leave there. Like, you would think there'd be at least a search party or something like, hey, where's Molly? Like, they don't know she left. Like, she didn't say, peace out, I quit. Never coming back to you again. They're just like, oh, I guess Molly died overnight in the woods. Like, we never found any trace of her again. It's interesting because for how much I love this movie, the characters are really not likable. Like, not one of them is really a likable, strong, good character. Like, the unicorn's really arrogant and pretentious. Molly is like, throws her whole life away to go run off with these people that she met like a minute and a half ago. And then Schmendrick is all like Mr. Ego and I'm great, no I'm not. I'm great, no I'm not. It's like almost this bipolar function in his attitude. And then we have Haggard, who's absolutely horrible, and Lear, who falls in love just based on his eyesight. Like, the characters are more complicated and they're more interesting than a normal cartoon, but it also makes it kind of strange because it's a real oddity to have these characters and none of them are like these good, highly moral, perfect sort of beings, especially in an 80s type of cartoon, because this was heavily marketed to kids. The Red Bull is just essentially a minion that works for the most evil person it can find. Now see, now the red makes sense because it's coming off the bowl. I would have liked to seen a little bit of an animated sequence there where her hoof prints got covered up as he ran over top of them, because that was such a big point for that was such a big point for the butterfly that it'd be just a nice little touch to see in the animation. I swear, this is like the most iconic visual scene of the movie is when the bull gets her. See, and now he's back like, oh, I'm a real magician. No, I'm not. Like, what is wrong with this guy going back and forth and back and forth? You need just like a shred of confidence, sir. And then he doesn't even put in enough effort to try and make something happen. He just starts that magic, do as you will, whatever. I am just your humble vessel. You will do as you pick. I mean, if that's all it takes for a magic spell, I mean, I should be standing outside just screaming that till something happens. because every other time he tries to do magic, he says like words, and I assume they're Latin words, but he's like trying to conjure something specific, and it doesn't work clearly. So maybe he just doesn't know the language as well as he thinks he does. But I don't see where magic do as you will is such a better alternative to make something happen. That's just saying, do something. I mean, he could be like calling Satan for all he knows. I mean, he has no idea what he's doing. And I like how the bull just turns and leaves like, oh, okay, I guess I quit then. Like, wants no answers, does nothing about the girl, just like, oh, fine. Cat and mouse game is over. See, yeah, I have to agree with Molly. He is an idiot. Like, oh, well, I'm just a bearer. I'm just the messenger. Like, you totally were the conduit there that made that whole thing happen. So to be like, I'm blameless, don't get mad at me. It's the fact that you didn't choose anything that this happened. I guess they keep her nipples hidden because they're not as hideous. I don't know why we had to see so much of that harpy, but I still don't appreciate it, guys. Like, suddenly now the movie has modesty. Did it? I mean, how do you know that the magic... I mean, like, you've not been able to master it by your own, like, admission, something, one of those words. Like, you don't know what you're doing, and now you're saying, well, trust in the magic, it knows what it's doing. Like, you don't know. So offended. And two women? How dare they crash our bachelor pad? And see, when he said the woman, she has a newness about her. This is before the internet when I was watching this as a kid. I thought newness was a word, not like Newnness like he said, but like Nuins or something. And I thought that meant the little star shape on her head, that it was a newness. And to this day, that is still a word in my vocabulary that doesn't mean anything to anybody else. I wonder why there are faces in his pillars there. I guess because it's kind of a cursed castle, but I don't know. Would somebody ask for that specifically to be carved into the wall? Molly's back there looking shocked, like, he does his own gate duty? But he's a king. Why? Are you the executioner too, sir? Why is it so dangerous to lose your interest? Oh, they do mention the 4 men-at-arms. They just never show them. Well, you said your son doesn't really make you happy, and he's right there. Will he just not leave? I like they have that touch of Haggard having the bloodshot eyes, like he, doesn't sleep much at all these days. So Schmendrick can't be that incredibly old. I mean, I feel like Haggard isn't paying very well, and, this Mabruk's salary can't be that great to begin with, so why is he so, defensive about keeping his job? Is this just an honor thing, maybe? See, there's her newness. N-U-I-N-S. No, no. N-U... N-U-N-I-S. See, there goes my dyslexia. I can't handle even spelling. I don't know, maybe he's just upset because he lives in the castle? I don't know. I don't know. If I had to work for that crotchety old man, I'd just be like, alright, you're done with me. Good luck, new guy. Bye. On to make real money as a real wizard. Now there's only one Dodo. They're starting to die while she's away. So we really have no idea how long she was on the road before she got where she wanted to be. She could have been wandering in circles for years. I wonder if those furry bits on their sleeves have any kind of dating factor for when this would have been set. Because Schmendrick has it too, so it seems to be a stylistic choice. If you think she's this, noble lady that's so upper class here, then why would she know how to make a dress? I don't think that's a typical thing that a very highborn lady would do. Maybe I'm wrong, but all of my knowledge of all of these old costume drama shows tell me that they don't do their own work. And I love that they give the cat an eye patch. Why? I mean, the cat's supposed to be a normal cat, so why does he need an eye patch? I'm sorry, I got distracted by narwhals because I've been obsessed with them lately. Hey, that's Mommy Fortuna's bird. How long did he have to wander until he found a dragon? And see, the whole thing about this is that he's trying so hard to impress her that he's killing dragons and doing all this heroic work that he never did before. Although it would have been more interesting if he would have brought her the harpy after she took the effort to free it. Well, that's not foreshadowing at all, is it? Why is there somebody's head at the top of that picture? Like, what is going on in that picture? There's just some lady's head on top of that unicorn going into the ocean. All of that is legitimate magic, alright? I don't care if it's not super serial magic that just kicks all butt in heaven and earth, but if that's real magic, okay, he's making things do things just based on his whims. I don't understand why people peel potatoes. It kind of upsets me because I think the skin's like the best part of the potato. See, okay, Amalthea is supposed to know how to make her own dress as this upper class lady, but he doesn't know how to peel potatoes. So see, there is a clear double standard of what a woman is supposed to know versus this guy, who's got all these medals for what? Are these all recently earned? Was he wearing those before? I'm pretty sure he had a cape on over it, so I'm not positive. But I feel like it's saying he just earned all of these medals for different acts of bravery trying to impress the Lady Amalthea. I don't see why Molly's like playing matchmaker here. Like, she's got no reason to want the unicorn to be nice to the prince. And we had all of this nice, smooth music with America, and then I don't know who's actually singing this right now, but her voice seems so off. I don't know if they did that in post production, but it just, like, I don't know, it just sounds totally off. It's like the notes are bad. I never cared for this song. And even like the audio has a kind of warble to it. Like, there's just, I don't know, maybe it's over time it's gotten worse, but it just doesn't sound right. For Hardabe? What's a Hardabe? See, and again, today I can just type it into Google and it will tell me the lyrics and I can look at them. But back in the 80s and 90s, you could not do that. If it didn't come with a CD insert where it told you the lyrics, then you just had to guess. It's interesting how that sunset is warping down there. that creature on the left? Is that like a griffin? Never seen a winged beast with a tail like that. I love the sass level of that cat. And he's got like a peg leg and these really like human-like hands that are just unsettling to look at. Tell me the way while you aggravate the cat and flip it over on its back. Why is the cat like a sailor? No cat anywhere ever gave anyone a straight answer. That's the Black Cat and Coraline summed up in one sentence. I wonder how long they're here, too, because it's winter now. So, I don't know. I just never really had a good grasp on how much time has passed, and if Lear did earn all those medals while Amalthea was in the castle, then they've been here for quite a while. Oh, those nipples. Yep, last thing I'm ever gonna see. It's gonna be the last thing that flashes before my eyes when I die. They're so traumatic. This is a perfect example of the prettier a girl is, the more crazy a guy will put up with. Because he has no idea that she's a unicorn, has no idea that anything's wrong with her, and she's acting like she has no idea who he is. And he's just like, oh, let me tell you my name 50 times because you're so pretty. What nice handwriting. That came out really sarcastic, but I was trying to be sincere in that moment. Like, beautiful penmanship. And of course she has the one room with the unicorn at the front of it, of the balcony, for reasons. I think one of the great things about this movie is the pace. And that so much happens in such a short amount of time that it really just sucks you in and makes you want to watch it over and over and over again to kind of fully get every angle of the experience that you can. And then there's this song where all the action stops and it just moves oh so trudgingly slow. I mean, you would think in a We Fell in Love montage, it would just, I don't know, have a little bit more going on than, okay, I'm letting go of my unicorn dream now to be with you, guy. Guy whose name I didn't know 10 minutes ago. Oh, sour note. I don't, oh, that just, I don't know. That really, like, messed with my senses and hurt my ears. I don't like when the regular characters sing. Just keep America up there. That's all we need. What makes any, is it because she's pretty or because of the way she carries herself? What makes him so sure that she's a noble? Has he been trying to catch up to her this whole time? It's interesting that he mentions her standing perfectly still when she had a very antsy movement about her when the butterfly came along. So you'd think she'd have sort of a similar energy around where she thinks the answers of where all the unicorns went is lying. Man, that tower is like really leaning. I don't know if I'd want to stand over it. And I guess in this world, if you've ever seen a unicorn, then you will always see a unicorn. So, yeah, that's the only way that Haggard makes any sense about being able to tell that unicorns are there. Although the whole thing about putting them in the sea is really weird. Like, what? Wouldn't you want to see them in a field? Wrangled in by the Red Bull? Why? I don't, nothing makes you happy but unicorns. Okay, I get you there. But how do they make you happy in the ocean? See, they all look identical, so she's like, maybe they're somewhere waiting for me. Like, I don't think they can tell who's present and who's not, especially since you guys don't have names. He's a level of cuckoo that I think he's drinking the seawater over there and making himself sick. Like, look at his bloodshot, gross eyes. Like, they make me uncomfortable. Don't look at me this hard. So then his eyes are supposed to be full of forest animals because he saw a unicorn? Can you, though? Because pretty sure you're like 200 years old. I don't know if you have much longer that you can wait. And this guy, Schmendrick's just standing off on the sidelines, letting him berate her and terrorize her like that, and does nothing? Good thing he didn't want to have his way with her or something awful like that, because Schmendrick would have just watched until he was done, I guess. Another completely unlikable character that we all love. It's like the first troll. And they don't really discuss what brought the skeleton to life. I assume it's something Schmendrick did as far as the movie standards go. Just mean-spirited alcoholic at heart. I'm always curious if he actually turned it into wine or if it was just a trick. Because he makes that little face like, yes, he took the bait. But then it doesn't make sense for that to be a setup by Schmendrick either, because he drank the water slash maybe wine, So he doesn't know that the skeleton will take an empty flask just to smell the wine he can't smell. It's me explaining anything to my children. Just give it to me. I'm tired of this. And then he gets drunk off of absolutely nothing. I love it. How does he know this, though? Like, what is it about a normal human skeleton that can recognize that this is a unicorn in front of him? Was it being pretend drunk? Is it some mystical power he's set up with? I don't get it. Oh, now he's brave. Couldn't lift a finger to help Amalthea when he was trying to throw her into the ocean, or threatening to at least. But now he's Mr. Brave Guy. Where did he come from? Has he been waiting in there for her? Because he certainly didn't walk through the clock just now. But that doesn't make sense because there was a one-man sword fight going on and he was nowhere to be seen. What good does destroying it do? I mean, shouldn't he need to go through there and then stab them all? Wouldn't that solve his problem over breaking the clock so now nobody can get in again? Gosh, it looks like a cave that the aliens would set up. I feel like the heartbreak of this would be lessened if they explained the fact that people are naturally attracted to unicorns and they're very easy to fall in love with, and that's a large part of what's going on with Lear here. But maybe they felt like if his love wasn't that sincere, then it would make her pain seem less sincere or more tragic. Or, alternative idea, King Haggard will die eventually, and then the Red Bull's going to go away, and all the unicorns are going to just march right out and go home. I mean, this really is only a temporary 100-year-long maximum sentence in the ocean there. Another great quote from this movie: there are no happy endings because nothing ends. I mean, at this point, he's turned somebody into a unicorn, he's made a tree come to life, he's created Robin Hood people, he's shrunk a cage, and that's just while we've been watching him over these past few months. I don't see how he's not a real magician yet. Like, he's got so many daddy issues going on here of making his former teacher happy. Oh, now he knows, but when it happened right in front of him, he was so confused he just walked away. Better not turn her back into a horse now, or else she's a goner. See, there he goes with the words again. Like, I don't even think that's Latin. I think he's just totally making up things like gibberish there. Like, I just... Like, when some of those people you see that go into tongues and it's, like, so totally fake. That's what his magic spells sound like. And then there's Lear, our hero, jumping out of the way so that the unicorn can't get away. Like, he did not try to get in between her and the bull at all. Wait, where did he get hurt? Just grabbing his arm. What did he do to get hurt? He jumped out of the way. So Schmendrick had to tell him, hey, you basically need to die for her because that's the only way she's getting out of this. I mean, because he wasn't going to step in on his own. And why is the Red Bull so careless with the son of his master? You would think there'd be some kind of he's off limits type of scenario, but obviously Haggard's not that torn up about it. I mean, he looks a little sad, but maybe he's just really determined and excited to get the last one. Gotta catch 'em all. He was the original Pokemon master. How did not one other unicorn ever think of this? Like, oh, wait, we're magic too! And don't say it's because unicorns don't know love and Amalthea knew love, so that's why she could suddenly flare up her horn and defeat the Red Bull, because they showed some of those unicorns together like they were a couple. So unicorns can love. He's just like, well, I guess I'll go in the sea then. I mean, they're not even glowing in their horns, so it really just took the one to stand up for herself for the Red Bull to totally go away. It reminds me of being outside one day and I saw my cat had this mouse, like, cornered. And I realized it had the mouse cornered because all of a sudden I heard eep! And just these little squeak sounds, and I look over and the mouse is jumping in the cat's face. Like, it was cornered, it had nothing left to try, so gosh darn it, it was going to try to survive. Same thing with the unicorn getting back into the ocean here. And somehow with these millions of unicorns, not one has ever tried to fight back, nor have they tried to unionize to fight back. And that is the most I don't understand part of this entire movie. And I don't know if it's the stampede or if the unicorn magic was keeping Haggard's castle up or what that's supposed to be. I know based on the book, it's a curse fulfillment type of thing, but it's really odd how it plays out in the movie. Like, okay, unicorns are running by. They don't seem to be wishing you any harm or putting any magic on your household here, yet it all collapsed and crumbled into the sea. Why? And now Lear's gonna come back to life and be like, but where am I gonna go? My home is gone. Yeah, you were totally dead. You were like a roasted pig, basically. I mean, he just trampled you with his flaming body. But now I wonder if it's going to go the other way too, because as a human, she forgot what it was to be a unicorn and all her memories as a unicorn, which were hundreds of years at least old. And so in time, is she going to forget Lear? Is it going to be like, oh, wait, was I really a human or was that a dream? No, I still argue the other unicorns knew what love was. And I don't know where Lear's going. He's not going home, obviously. I don't know why he doesn't go off with them. He must have somewhere to go, though, right? There goes my phone. She's like, thank you. I have to carry around this burden of sorrow forever. Or I guess regret and love, as they put it in unicorn words. I'm alive. She's going a very, very, very long way. And they never really mention what happened to her forest, so would it still be in good shape? Did it go through seasonal changes? Did men come through and like plunder out all the animals? Or I don't know, that doesn't sound like the proper usage of that word. I can't speak today. And there's Mommy Fortuna's crow just hanging out around there, really odd. I don't get it. I don't get why he's hanging around. This is like ridiculously short credits too. It's got like 57 seconds left. I'm alive. I'm alive. And it's implied she made it home? But we don't really know what she found when she got there. Oh, those credits were over really quickly, so I guess I will say goodbye, start signing off, and I will see you in the next video. Remember to check my About section. I do have different polls up to vote for the next set of talking through movies that I do. Hope I didn't screw this up too bad going, but again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, guys. Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. I get a lot of comments that say, do a theory on this topic, but I've already done those theories. So please consider going to my main channel page and clicking on the video tab so that way you can see everything I've done. You will probably find a lot of things you like that you never even knew that I posted. I want to let you know that I also have 2 other channels, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming and the Fanily Family Vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to hit subscribe and share. I can use all the help I can get to let other people know that this channel exists. And if you made it this far, leave me a comment that says something like, hey, I made it to the end. And then let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I can't make any promises, but the more people that request something, the more I can look into it. Okay, well, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.